Good afternoon and welcome to 3 o'clock with SOC. My name is Maria. I am a community organizer and youth coordinator at SOC, and I will be your host for today. Just give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking guests. Muy buenas tardes y bienvenidos a 3 en Punto con SOC. Mi nombre es María, soy una organizadora de la comunidad y coordinadora del grupo de jóvenes con SOC. Hoy nuestro programa es en inglés, pero ofrecemos traducciones al español. Para escuchar la traducción puede llamar al número que aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749-3122 y la contraseña es 779-328-221. Okay, so we're going to continue with our show and with some other reminders. There is a link to our past recorded episodes on our Facebook and YouTube page, so feel free to check those out. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to our staff. Today we have Marlene producing and Travis doing comments. Another reminder to complete our SOC survey. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions on our forum. We are also open to any suggestions or topics you'd like to see on here. All of the SOC staff is working virtually from home, and that is why you see us on the screen without masks at this time. Although we are working from home, SOC is still here for you. You can reach us via email at soc@socmilwaukee.org or call us at 414-672-8090. You can also check out our website at socmilwaukee.org. Lastly, I'd like to share a disclaimer that the views and opinions shared today do not necessarily reflect those of SOC. Before I continue with our announcements, I'd like to invite you all to comment just so that we can get an idea of who's all here with us today. So I'll just go quickly on the comments and see who's here. Ariana, Juan, Isaiah, Leroy, hi. Thank you for joining and watching the forum. So I'll continue with some other announcements. As you already know, today is our Youth Forum Day. For our special segment, we will have Hope Owens Wilson, a youth organizer from the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU of Wisconsin. But before we move forward with our interview, I'd like to go over what the rest of the week looks like for our forum. So tomorrow is Wednesday, or Spanish Day. Thursday is COVID-19 Day with the interim commissioner from the Milwaukee Public Health Department. And then Friday is our Community Organizing and Leadership Day with information from the Milwaukee Fire Department. We hope you can all join us for the rest of the week and get more information from all the amazing guests we have booked. So we're going to continue with our guest segment. Now it's time, and please help me welcome Hope Owens Wilson from the ACLU of Wisconsin. Hi, Hope. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm super excited for this conversation.
Yeah, me too. So if you can start off by telling us a little bit about ACLU, just general info and programs offered.
Yeah, so the ACLU stands for American Civil Liberties Union. It is a national organization that seeks to sort of bridge the gap between the legislative part of the civil rights and civil liberties in the United States of America and the actual lived portion. So we kind of see ourselves as a referee between these two systems. Oftentimes some people's rights get trampled over, or there's different interpretations of law, and the ACLU seeks to really define the rights and liberties of people living in America, in the United States of America.
What kind of programs are offered, just generally speaking? I know you're a youth organizer, but besides youth program, what other programs are offered by ACLU?
Yeah, so right now, and I know we'll talk more about this, but right now a lot of our programming is happening digitally, but we primarily, especially in the advocacy department, do a lot with training. So we do a lot of Know Your Rights trainings, also training centered around some of our advocacy issues like our Smart Justice campaign, or other civil rights issues that are really prominent in Wisconsin and across the nation.
Okay. And then can you tell me a little bit about your role as youth organizer for ACLU?
Yeah, so as a youth organizer, I'm primarily like a programmatic organizer. So I oversee a lot of our youth programs, our pillar youth programs that we have, like the Summer Justice Institute that takes place later in July. It's a 2-week program. And then we also have something called the Youth Social Justice Forum, which is a community cooperatively led, like workshop style program. And then we have our student alliances, which are centered in multiple schools throughout MPS, and there are a few student alliances statewide, and we kind of support those students in their goal to like develop their skills on advocacy and in nonprofit sector. So a lot of my work is like managing those programs, but then it's also developing trainings and other like educational components around like our issues or issues that are happening in the United States.
Do you know about how many youth are involved? Just with all those programs, how many youth are involved typically?
Yeah, so it varies. Unfortunately, since we're digital, our numbers have kind of decreased. So when we're in person, it's usually like in the thousands. We've reached like over 1,000 students. And this year it's more so like in the mid hundreds, so 500 students. But typically we are building relationships with, 20 students in one school, 20 students in another school, 20 students in another school. So it's a wide range, but we really try to build relationships with as many students as possible.
What is like the time commitment then that these students have to ACLU? Like how much time do they spend with ACLU?
Yeah, that's a great question. It honestly that varies too according to the groups. Like if the student group wants to do more of a conversational group, then their time commitment with the ACLU could be as low as like a couple of hours a week. But we do have some student leaders that are really into like orchestrating larger like activist actions, so like protests, those kinds of things. And those students tend to spend like at least 10 hours a week either talking with us, planning, and those kinds of things. So yeah, it's anywhere from like a couple of hours a week to like 10 hours. It really depends on what the students' goals are.
Perfect. Can you tell us a little bit about, I know you mentioned the youth program, so you have the Summer Justice Institute, the Youth Social Justice Program, and then Student Alliances. Can you talk to us about those programs, kind of what they look like before COVID-19 and then what has changed after?
Yeah, so prior to COVID-19, we had the student alliances. They take place in different schools. Right now, we're working with 3 schools, Riverside High School. Sorry, not Riverside. I'm just thinking about Riverside. Milwaukee High School of the Arts, Rufus King High School, and then North Division High School. And so with those students, we do a lot of like hands-on arts activities. So we seek to combine civic engagement and art. So it's a lot of art builds. It's a lot of like trainings on how you can use art to spread a message about whatever issue you're passionate about. And then also like other lobbying type of trainings that we do. And so that's more of like a time commitment kind of group, like it's like a normal student after school club. And then our Youth Social Justice Forum, before COVID, it was like this one-day event where we would invite multiple community leaders to sort of provide their expertise in certain areas. So we would have anything from like mental and emotional wellness experts from the community to like organizations like True School or other organizations to sort of bring like arts education to students. And it would be like a one-day extravaganza full of workshops and hands-on activities. But now, since we have to be physically distanced for the health and safety of everyone, our Youth Social Justice Forum is taking the form of like monthly like issue focuses. So this month we're doing a Black empowerment workshop. Next month we're doing a hands-on workshop with True School. And then in March we're going to be doing something with Ex Fabula around like finding the joy in social movement. So it's a really exciting like change of format, and we hope like a lot of people are interested. But
Is that happening? I'm sorry, is that happening in person or is that online or?
it's online. It's
Okay.
online. That's also the additional component that has changed. So in the past, Youth Social Justice Forum was at the UWM Student Union, and this year it's held solely on Zoom.
Oh, okay. So what would someone have to do to be a part of that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. There's a few ways. So we have our Facebook page, ACLU of Wisconsin. You should be able to find us if you search ACLU of WI. And we have our events listed there. You can click and sign up and register through Zoom. We also have an ACLU Youth Instagram. So it's ACLU_youth. And you can get updates, and we'll have the links in our bio for people who are interested to sign up.
Okay. And then just lastly, about the Summer Justice Institute, any idea of what that will look like this summer?
Yeah, so first I'll just share a little bit of information about what it used to be, what it has taken the shape of in the past. The Summer Justice Institute is more like an intensive summer camp of students who come together and sort of talk about the issues in their community. So it's students from all over MPS, students from all over Milwaukee, come together and talk about those issues and sort of brainstorm how they can build like a sort of collective movement in their respective communities or respective schools once they leave. So we give them a lot of organizing strategies and skills and tactics to take back into their communities. And so in the past, that has been in person, and we've had a lot of community leaders and politicians join us to share their perspective. We have already done a digital format in 2020, and that went over really well. Our focus was talking about racial identity and how that helps shape community organizing work. And so this year, it'll be more of that conversation, but also looking to talk about like 2021 and how I know a lot of people are thinking like we have a new president and like everything's fixed, but how do you maintain that momentum of change when it seems like, you know, other people might be kind of taking a seat and slowing down? So that's our focus for this year. It'll still be digital, but we'll have some hybrid components like mailing art kits or finding some ways to maybe do some pieces in person, but you know, safely distanced apart. We're still in conversation about that, but it'll primarily be digital. So we'll share more information out that on our social media as we solidify plans.
Okay, perfect. So just let's say the youth want to get involved. We actually have a youth program here with SOC, and they're mostly all of them watching right now. But let's say one of our youth says that they're interested in ACLU or they would be interested in joining. What would be the process, or is there a certain timeline they have to join a certain semester? How does that work?
Yeah, so for me, like you can want to start a group like this month in spring, and I'll be like, yeah, sure. I'll come and support you. So the short answer is like you contact me, you can email me at hope, HOPE at ACLU hyphen WI .org. I'm trying to see if I said that right. Yeah, at ACLU-WI.org. It's a little convoluted, but it's easy. Hope is the main thing. And you can shoot me an email. I also like have a phone number that I am more than willing to receive text messages for. It's 414-395-0005. Hopefully I got all those numbers. It's 3 zeros and a 5. You know, thinking off the top of my head, I'm like, what is my number? But I receive text messages and emails, however people want to get in contact with me, and I'll definitely work with that. With that said, like the earlier the better. So if they contact me for the spring, we can make a plan to include to like keep working in the fall, you know, but I know that people come to this work at different times, and some issues might pop up and make themselves urgent at any time. So I'm all for it. Like contact me and I'll be down to support.
Okay, perfect. And then lastly, the last question that I at least have for you is general contact info. Whether that's, I mean, you did mention your email and your phone number. Could you actually repeat your phone number so that we can put it in the comments?
Yeah, no worries. So
Or you
it's
can send it to us in the private chat. I don't know if you see that, but
yeah, I sent it.
okay.
But it's 414-395-0005. I accept text messages primarily. But you can text that number and ask like, hey, I'm interested in starting a student alliance, or like I have some questions for the ACLU, like what can I do?
Yeah.
And I'll definitely respond to those.
Okay. And then another question is, a lot of our viewers are bilingual or Spanish speaking. Are there any services available in that language for them, or in any
Yeah.
other languages?
Yeah, at this time, like we do contracts, so it's primarily it's usually like let us know in advance, and then we'll accommodate those services. But again, like I want to let you know and everybody know, like we'll take community preferred people too, right? So if there's like a well trusted translator that the community would really like to have, we will definitely reach out and make that relationship. So basically taking any suggestions, but right now we contract that out. We don't have anything in-house for translations, but we do recognize that that's really important, and we're working on building that part of our programming out.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to encourage our viewers, which I know most of our youth is watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to just ask away in the comments. Don't be shy, because I know we'll talk about this later, but still ask in the comments. And is there anything else, Hope, that you'd like us to know? Any events or programs coming up with ACLU that you'd like to encourage us to attend or anything like that?
Yeah, thank you. So I have a few things. We have like a full schedule of youth programming events coming up. So please check out our ACLU of Wisconsin Facebook page for those updates and those links. We have an event happening every month. But from a political standpoint, there's a lot of movement around budgets happening in February, March, and April, as well as school board races and superintendent races happening. So I'm just encouraging everybody who's watching to keep their eyes on that, look for ways to be involved in those efforts, because the worst things usually happen when, you know, politicians or legislators think that nobody's looking. And so we really need to keep people's feet to the fire and hold them accountable for the things that the people deserve and have worked for, especially since, you know, this pandemic has really shown just like the large range of, you know, the large range of caring and not caring that people are willing to have about each other. So the more we can work together and make collective noise and action about those, the better.
Perfect. Thank you for that. We do have a comment here. So actually, when you were talking about interpretation services, we do have an interpreter at SOC who's always here helping us. Her name is Miranda Medina, and she just commented that she would love to chat about translation slash interpretation opportunities. So I can definitely provide you with her information.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you. We want to keep it in the community as much as possible. So the less we have to like contract those services out beyond like the Milwaukee area, yeah, the better.
Yes, we definitely recommend her. SOC loves Miranda. So I don't think I have any other questions for you. We'll just stay updated with ACLU through your social media. We also have your contact information as well in case any youth in particular would like to join or start getting involved as well. And I just want to thank you for your time and for the information that you provided us with.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. And just to let you know, I follow y'all on social media, so I keep up with SOC for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So thank you to Hope for being here with us for such great information. If you guys do have any more questions or anything like that, feel free to still comment on the chat, or you can definitely contact her on that information provided in the comments section. So we'll just move on with our coronavirus update with Marlene for a live info session.
Thank you. All right, so for today, I'm going to be going over the COVID-19 vaccine, and then I'm going to go over what the process is for facilities and organizations that are distributing vaccines, what the process is for them to actually get access and get a hold of the COVID-19 vaccine. So first off, I have this.
Has this live forum been informative and useful to you?
My bad. I have some updates for you guys about the COVID-19 vaccine. So I'm just going to kind of read off of this flyer, which we've also shared on our Facebook page. And I think it really wraps up the COVID-19 vaccine and essentially, gives you some updates on it and also reassures you that it is a safe vaccine to use and get during this time. So the goal, herd immunity. When enough individuals have protection, there are less affected people in a community, and the virus cannot continue to spread widely and infect others. So that's what herd immunity is. Vaccine safety. Because of this pandemic, the FDA used an emergency use authorization to let individuals get a vaccine before all the trials are complete. These vaccines still undergo very strict testing, and safety is the top priority during all phases of development. A national vaccine safety surveillance program will continuously track vaccine safety for many years. In this program, anyone can, but doctors must report possible side effects or health problems that occur after vaccination. How the vaccine works. Most vaccines require 2 doses for effective protection and reinforcement from COVID-19. There are other vaccines in development that are only 1 dose, but majority of vaccines that are of this kind do need 2 doses. The reason for that is because the first dose kind of prepares your immune system for the vaccine, so it exposes the virus to your system, but then it also, the second one essentially goes into full effect. So that allows your immune system to get a full effect of the COVID-19 vaccine and COVID-19. Now, so everybody's reactions are different when they get the COVID-19 vaccine. The same way your reactions are to other vaccines, such as getting an MMR vaccine or a polio vaccine in the past. Many of those vaccines require 4 dosages. So what you would do is you would get your first shot, and then you'd wait a couple of weeks and get your second one, and so on. So that's kind of like how that works. And what essentially will happen, some side effects, is that you'll get some swelling on the site of the injection, possibly some redness. Individuals can get some, chills, fever, feeling fatigued. So things of that sort, which is completely normal. And that is essentially what other individuals' side effects are when you're getting other vaccines as well. I know for me, when I go get the when I go get the flu shot, I do have those symptoms as well. Like you get redness and soreness at the swelling of the injection. You might get like flu-like symptoms. The same thing is going to happen with the COVID-19 vaccine. And so let's go into availability and cost. The vaccine will be offered to all who want it as soon as more become available at no cost whatsoever to anyone. With different strands of COVID-19 emerging, the virus should still be affected by antibodies produced by the vaccine. So the way that they made this vaccine is that whatever strand emerges from the COVID-19 virus, this vaccine will essentially provide the antibodies required for your body to fight it off. Vaccine benefits. It will protect you and others from COVID-19, even those who have gotten the virus already, because remember, you can get COVID-19 more than once. When can I get the vaccine? Due to the limited supply and the high-risk populations that have been prioritized to receive the vaccine first, the vaccine will be more widely available to the public later in the upcoming months of 2021. It's estimated that, according to the Milwaukee Health Department, it's estimated that hopefully all of the healthcare workers and those that are, essentially all of the healthcare workers should be all vaccinated by the end of February. They are currently vaccinating police officers and people that work for the fire department, and they are vaccinating individuals that are in nursing homes and those that are 65 years old and up now. That will be starting January 28th. So in 2 days, those that are 65 years old and up can start to get the COVID-19 vaccine. And you can get all of this information when you go to milwaukee.gov/COVIDvax. You can also call 211 to get more information about this. And, or if you have any questions as well, 211 can answer them for you. And also, for those that want updates, you can go on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and follow at MKE Health. If you want current updates on the COVID-19 vaccine. So that being said, let me just share this quick chart here. So this chart essentially explains the allocation process from the federal government to COVID-19 vaccination. This process from start to finish takes between 7 and 10 days. So what happens, you'll start off with the federal government gives an allocation amount for the upcoming week. Then that goes to the Department of Health Services. It sends this survey to all Wisconsin vaccinating entities to see the needs and on-hand vaccine. Then the Department of Health Services allocates the vaccine amount based on the allocation model. Then they'll schedule clinics to receive these vaccines. The Department of Health Services sends orders to the federal government. The federal government ships the vaccines to the facilities. The vaccinating facilities receive the vaccine. Then they vaccinate phase 1A individuals. Then the vaccinators update the Wisconsin Immunization Registry with data. So every time someone is vaccinated, the same way that we update the vaccine immunization chart and it's online. It's available to anyone anyone in the United States that currently has a healthcare provider, and they update like this individual received the first COVID-19 vaccine done. Then Then the last section is that they will check the data for accuracy. So they're going to be checking for accuracy continuously. And then, so each vaccine takes moments, but the paperwork and monitoring takes additional time based on each participant. So that's also a reason why, it's taking so long, because all of these other steps need to be taken into place. And that it takes 7 to 10 days for the whole process to be completed. And also, right now we are the Milwaukee is trying to vaccinate all healthcare providers, as well as, so as they're vaccinating healthcare providers, those healthcare providers are going out into the public and vaccinating other individuals that are at risk, such as the police officers and the health fire department workers. So once a majority of those healthcare individuals are vaccinated, then we'll have enough people to go out and vaccinate everyone else. So that's kind of how it works. Milwaukee has a huge healthcare population. We have about 500,000 individuals that work in the healthcare industry here, which is really good. But at the same time, it's going to take us a little bit before everyone is vaccinated and before the whole process moves forward. But according to Claire Evers, that we've had on before on the forum, she stated that we are actually moving faster than it was estimated. So that's my COVID-19 update for you guys for today. I'm going to pass it back to Maria.
Thank you, Marlene, for that update. Next up, we'll have our Civic update with a video explaining the process of impeachment.
For most jobs, it's understood that you can be fired, whether for crime, incompetence, or just poor performance. But what if your job happens to be the most powerful position in the country or the world? That's where impeachment comes in. Impeachment isn't the same as actually removing someone from office. Like an indictment in criminal court, it's only the formal accusation that launches a trial, which could end in conviction or acquittal. Impeachment was adopted in the United States as a power of Congress applying to any civil officers, up to and including the president. Although demands for impeachment can come from any members of the public, only the House of Representatives has the power to actually initiate the process. It begins by referring the matter to a committee, usually the House Committee on Rules and the House Committee on the Judiciary. These committees review the accusations, examine the evidence, and issue a recommendation. If they find sufficient grounds to proceed, the House holds a separate vote on each of the specific charges, known as articles of impeachment. If one or more passes by a simple majority, the official is impeached, and the stage is set for trial. The actual trial that follows impeachment is held in the Senate. Selected members of the House, known as managers, act as the prosecution, while the impeached official and their lawyers present their defense. The Senate acts as both judge and jury, conducting the trial and deliberating after hearing all the arguments. If it's the president or vice president being impeached, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presides. A conviction requires a supermajority of 2/3 and results in automatic removal from power. Depending on the original charges, it can also disqualify them from holding office in the future and open them to standard criminal prosecution. So what exactly can get someone impeached? That's a bit more complicated. Unlike in the United Kingdom, impeachment in the US pits an elected legislature against other democratically elected members of government. Therefore, to prevent the process from being used as a political weapon, the Constitution specifies that an official can only be impeached for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. That still leaves a lot of room for interpretation, not to mention politics, and many impeachment trials have split along partisan lines. But the process is generally understood to be reserved for serious abuses of power. The first official to be impeached was Tennessee Senator William Blount in 1797 for conspiring with Britain to seize the Spanish colony of Louisiana. Since then, the House has launched impeachment investigations about 60 times, but only 19 have led to actual impeachment proceedings. The 8 cases that ended in a conviction and removal from office were all federal judges, and impeachment of a sitting president is even more rare. Andrew Johnson was impeached in 1868 for attempting to replace Secretary of War Edwin Stanton without consulting the Senate. Over a century later, Bill Clinton was impeached for making false statements under oath during a sexual harassment trial. Both were ultimately acquitted when the Senate's votes to convict fell short of the required 2/3 majority. And contrary to popular belief, Richard Nixon was never actually impeached for the Watergate scandal. He resigned before it could happen, knowing he would almost certainly be convicted. Theoretically, the US government is already designed to prevent abuses of power, limiting different branches through a system of checks and balances, term limits, and free elections. But impeachment can be seen as an emergency brake for when these safeguards fail. TED Ed is a nonprofit. If you value our work, please consider supporting it on patreon.com/TEDEd.
Thank you to Gabe for choosing that very informative video for us. Next up is our SOC feature, which we will have Travis come on live with a safety update.
Hello, everyone. Obviously, everybody knows we're in a snow emergency. So that means park on the even side. If you go to the city's website, there's a snow parking thing that you can click on and give you all the information. And so obviously, garbage in that will not be picked up today, or most likely not tomorrow either, if that's your regular days, because of they're using the trucks for plowing and salting. So just if you have your garbage out there already, just leave it out there, and then when they can pick it up, they'll pick it up. Don't be surprised if they're out there, this weekend picking up garbage to catch up. So just bear with the city because of the snow emergency. Try to abide by the parking. The Milwaukee Police Department put a couple things out on their Facebook for people to drive safely. Please clean off your cars before you start driving or get on the freeway or the streets, so your vision is not impaired. Also, the usual car thefts. Don't leave your keys in the cars. Cars will be taken. It happens almost every day right now. People are leaving keys in their cars to warm up their cars, and their cars are getting stolen. So just keep an eye on that. If you see a family member doing it, let them know not to do it. And just if as soon as it's safe for you to get out there and shovel your walks for people to walk through, that's always a good thing to do, just so people can still walk through there safely. If you live near a corner, please try to shovel that out when you can and when it's safe to. So it's just important things, during the snow emergencies. Just if you can stay home, stay home. If you have to go out, just be safe, and just bear with the city. They're out there plowing and salting and trying to get a hand on it. And most likely it'll be till tomorrow. So keep parking till you hear different. Like the snow emergencies in effect. So like I said, park on the even side, and you can go to the website, the city website, milwaukee.gov, and they'll have more information on there about parking during the snow emergencies. I think that's about it. So everybody be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis, for the update. Next up, we'll have our SOC promo video with Marisol.
Has this live forum been informative and useful to you? What part of the forum could be improved or changed to make it better? Please take a quick survey that's located in the comments section so that we can keep 3 o'clock with SOC going for residents. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, it's almost time to say goodbye. But before I go, I'd like to remind you all of what is coming up for the rest of the week at 3 o'clock with SOC. So again, tomorrow is Wednesday, our Spanish day. Thursday is our COVID-19 day with the interim commissioner from the Milwaukee Public Health Department. And Friday is our community organizing and leadership day. And we will have information from the Milwaukee Fire Department. So please stay tuned at 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And I will conclude our forum with our founder and partner thank yous.
Hello, SOC viewers. My name is Lucas, and I am a youth organizer. We would like to thank everyone for supporting our 3 o'clock with SOC live show and for completing our SOC survey, in addition to thanking our residents for tuning in and sharing our show. We would also like to thank the following sponsors: Wisconsin Voices, Community Development Block Grant, Neo Philanthropy State Infrastructure Fund, Catholic Campaign for Human Development, Movement Voted Project, Zibber Foundation, City of Milwaukee Office of Violence Prevention, Tides Foundation, City of Milwaukee Promises Zones, and all the faithful individuals who support SOC through their personal donations. Thank you.